Starting, I
What
mean.
do you mean buy?
I mean hi. I don't mean bye. I mean hi. Let me fix this.
Sometimes I really do
Hello.
think you hate.
Good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I hope it's working. You let me know, Huddy, if it is working. I think we are
I'll let you
live.
know.
I'm having moderate technical difficulties over here. Um,
It's working.
so we're just going to roll with it as long as it's working. If anything starts to glitch out and stop working, then that will be that, I guess. But welcome into another episode. It is 8:49 a.m. on the first day of February 2024. Can we get some snaps for the new month? Huddy's joining us on this wonderful evening in Thailand. How was your day so far? Most of us are getting our day started. Huddy is wrapping his up.
So here's what's crazy. If you were there for Wine Wednesday this morning or last night, it's still the same day for me. It's like actually it's like honestly, so I've never traded in such a time zone where it's kind of working like this. It's been a great day, got to go to the gym, did some cold plunge, I got a foot massage somewhere, and went to the local, like it's a town called Chaweng, on the island I'm on, and walked around. Was like I'm not in the party section of Thailand. There's like a huge party section on this island, which is where we went and visited. So everyone was like getting drunk on the beach and stuff like that, and we just kind of walked through and spectated. It's kind of like a zombie land type of apocalypse scene where everyone was just kind of like obviously in a daze and just doing their drinking and partying thing. And I don't know, it was like a documentary. It was Zombieland. So we just kind of spectated and then came back and did some health shit and had some salad, and now we're here.
There you go. I'm
Yeah,
going to make
film some
fish
videos at
tacos
some
for
point.
lunch. What? Huddy?
Sorry, I
Oh,
distracted for a
I thought
sec.
it. No, I thought I. Okay. Well, my analytics aren't working, so I hope we're still live. We're just gonna roll with it. All right. You mentioned in chat this morning, Gapper's been pretty slow as of late, and as you move towards your systematic approach trading, kind of let us know. We've kind of had a weird week. We had live trading yesterday where we didn't really talk about Gappers. I think we were off Tuesday, so this first time in a couple days we haven't gone over the Gappers. What have you been seeing? What have you been noticing? Um, when it slows down like this, what do you like to do? Give me all that.
Right now, I like to not trade. I mean, there have been some really obvious and blatant chart patterns, some big picture setups, and some really good patterns within January, the type that is just like, I want to be involved and I want to lose money on the setup if I'm wrong. Those type of setups were like the Fannie Mae's, the DWACs, the funds. Like, I think those were really good opportunities that aren't necessarily like gapper opportunities. They're more like multi-day structure charts. And those are so obvious when I see them that like, okay, like I like the liquidity, I like the volume, I like the reason that they're moving, like the catalyst and etc. Fannie Mae, like I like its history, I like my experience with it, I like the chart levels, I like the dollar, I like the price levels, where it's breaking out from. Like there were so many things that made so much sense where it's like, okay, those are the scenarios that I don't necessarily have to stick to one pattern and I can deviate to the other things that have made me really good money in the past. But I understand that like most breakouts, most first red days, most of these charts that are set up in some way, like I really don't care for that. I don't really care for the BFRGs. I don't really care for the MINMs. I really don't. And yes, there's ways to make money on them. And I'm not saying like just because I don't like them, no one should. Like it's just my philosophy, right? That Dom's asking about. Um, but I don't really care for them, right? I want to stick to one pattern, the one pattern that's making me money, and then like deviate when it's kind of a unique scenario where I really feel like, the odds are seriously in my favor that I'm gonna, either make a good risk reward trade or have a win under my belt. And it's just not normally there, and that's like it's here's a silver lining. Like if there's no trade for me, I can't lose money. And every time I go into a trade, like my mindset is risk first. Like I'm gonna lose. I think every trade I go into, I'm gonna lose, and so that's why I position myself the way I do, and I don't get too attached to any one stock. So if there's no setup for me to trade, if there's something that's like really like calling my name, or if there's something that really fits my criteria for day one gap up, then there's no way I can lose money. And I've had a really good last 2 months, and I God forbid I go on a losing streak, like that would be detrimental. I want to keep the momentum going, and the only way I can foresee myself going on a losing streak is if I start getting bored and deviating from what's been working. So that's what I'm thinking.
Very nice, very nice. Well, like you mentioned, this morning the list is quite, what's the word? Horrible.
Baron,
Um,
Baron.
yeah, the biggest top percent gainer today I see is
Wait, Dom.
54%. Huh?
There's 22 thumbs up likes and there's 77 people watching. It's not the right ratio.
I
Before you
cannot
start talking
actually
about
see the
gappers.
likes,
I know.
so I'm gonna have to assume that Huddy is telling the truth, which means we will need to have you guys hit the thumbs up as well. We are also so close to 4,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so do your part. Show your appreciation for the channel. If you're in here every day, you're not subscribed, what are you doing? We post videos every week. We're live Monday through Friday. We do live trading on Wednesdays. We stick around Wednesday nights for Wine Wednesdays. We're trying our hardest to hang out with you guys as often as possible, as long as the market is marketing. So hit that thumbs up button for us. All right, let's I guess get into it. Got to start with ELAB. Look, Huddy kind of run the show here on this very sad.
Elob. Well, that's nice because we've seen this one in the past. We saw it back on 1/15. We'll open up the old notebook to see what we wrote about it. But I remember it. I remember it was.
Do you wanna start with a little bit, since the list is gonna be short and quick? Because I was talking about this on one of the days you weren't here, about how we had brought up a ticker, a runner that we had already talked about in previous episodes, and I was like, I need to be keeping a list of all this, so that way I could just quick go back to it. What is your kind of process for that, of keeping up to date with these gappers, since they are ones that we generally see again in a few weeks or months?
Yeah. So I use a website called Notion.so. I just have like a digging for small caps with like a lot of my rules and a lot of things I like to avoid, or just notes to myself really. And on that page, I guess that part doesn't really matter. On that page, if there is a gapper of interest, if there's something that's kind of gapping up, quite well, and it's pretty much being pumped, that's when I start to do some research. And the whole intention is like whatever I'm writing down today, like, will come back and benefit me in the future, because oftentimes these stocks that get pumped, like it happens multiple times. So whatever I do today is going to be beneficial for the future, and it means I don't have to do it in the future. So I don't do it on every stock that's gapping, but I do it on the ones that are gapping, pretty much over 50%, 70, 100, 150, 300, whatever it is. If it's a unique gapper on the day, and I'll go through the.
Oh no. I don't know if that's you or me, Huddy. I'm going to assume that it was Huddy, even though I just tried to open a new tab to look at the news and it didn't work. So it's very possible it's mine. If someone wants to chat and let me know if they can still hear and see me right now, and maybe Huddy will pop back in. This computer definitely needs a restart. Wayne says it's Huddy. All right, so he'll probably pop back in. We'll let him finish his thought when he comes back. As far as ELAB goes, I don't see any new news today. Like Huddy said, this was one that ran a few weeks ago and was a pretty significant gap and crap on a pretty fresh chart. Pretty new ticker too, coming at the end of 2023, so only a few months of trading. I have a 1.82 million float for it. And they are a household and personal product company. Huddy's back. Hello.
I'm coming back. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
really had no clue if that was me or you. You can go ahead and finish your thought. I was basically just saying the float, and there's no news today.
What was I saying? Where did I leave off? Because I kept talking.
I don't know this whole computer crap because I was trying to figure. I tried to open a new tab and I had spinning wheels of death everywhere.
Well, so I put down all the information for the current quarter. Basically, I think is what I was saying. And then since these stocks get repumped, when the next quarter comes around or when there's new filings, I can very easily see how the situation has progressed. Have they gotten worse? Have they gotten better? Have they been dumping? And it's really good to go back and check those because again, the story unfolds. Like the stock market is never just like you can't just show up and just know what every ticker is and what it does. Like it's kind of like this like evolving story. So when you kind of like get a snapshot of what a ticker is today and then you see it being pumped again 2 months from now, it helps you, kind of see if the situation's better or worse. You have something to anchor yourself to. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and
So
Huddy's
ELAB.
been doing a pretty good job of that recently, where he might not be trading a lot of the stuff that me and Kyle are these days anymore. But a ticker will come about, it'll go on a run, and he'll be like, "Oh, that thing's a dilutive turd. Oh, that's the one with all the fake news. That's the one with this or that." And he's got a really good building a nice database of a lot of these tickers. And what you realize the longer that you trade in small cap space is that you will end up trading a lot of stocks more than once every year or two, and it is important to kind of understand their story and what they're kind of about in the market when they do get volume and news. And so it's awesome to
Yeah.
have all that, in a little
And
database to go back to when need be. So what do we have for ELAB there?
ELAB was a Univest and Webull underwriter, which is historically um, uh, manipulative, like leads to manipulative tickers, liquidation plays, which is why you see ELAB had that kind of gap up back in January, and then it closed literally below where it like came from. Like it's very rare that you see that a stock gap
No,
up
that was the one
70%
that
or
went
whatever.
red that day.
Yeah, it went red by like 20%, which is and then a lot more red. And so kind of coming into that day, I was like thinking, I remember it was like, is this going to be one of those scary ones or is it going to like I don't know. All I knew is that they had the right underwriters that, a lot of the notorious underwriters, especially specifically Univest and Webull. Um those have led to liquidation plays, but sometimes they pump it first and those are things I generally try to avoid. I don't really like to play the liquidation plays. I kind of have swore them off a while ago, but um, that doesn't mean that just because those underwriters are there, like for sure it's going to pump, and for sure it's going to end up like NHKD or ZYJL or Tops or whatever. Top. Um, in fact, what was the ticker yesterday? The ticker yesterday was
CXA or that one?
no. APTC 2 days ago, ATPC, APTC, something like that, ATPC. Um, a
I don't have a daily chart, but I think that's it.
ATPC. So they were a Network One IPO, and Network Up One is the other like sketchy one, and that is notorious for doing these pump jobs in the past 2 years, and that one was like an all day fader as well. So less and less am I like scared of these um like I want to know what the underwriters are, but understand like the ones that kind of get pumped up are the ones that like kind of have this like walk up phase and this washing volume. And it's not really just like all of a sudden like there's just a gap and then it starts going crazy. I mean, it's very rare that it happens like that. MGAM, there was one earlier back that actually did run well, but it wasn't like horrifically squeezy. I would have taken a normal loss there. It's not like it would have halted and I would have been like down $500 a share. Like those are the ones I'm really trying to avoid. Now that they exist. But they're rare, and I think the writings are usually on the wall, and again you have like walk up volume and weird volume um yeah. So that's ELAB. Back to ELAB. Sorry, a little distraction there. So yeah, they have 17 mil shares outstanding, 1.5 mil float. The insiders back when I last looked at it was 63%. I wonder if that's changed since a lot was kind of sold the other day. I actually have two numbers for the float, so that's interesting. And yeah, I don't think the situation has changed that much in 2 weeks, but I haven't really done any research into it.
And it's just not all that interesting being up 54%. And
Yeah.
that being our leading gapper, you also have a world where all of your day one gappers, long and short, ones who are watching it on a day-to-day basis, are pretty underwhelmed with the amount of them, I feel like, in the last week. So you probably just have less Momo there right now. less people bidding it up pre-market, and less people probably wanting to attack it once the market opens. So until we kind of get a shift, and that usually happens drastically, where like tomorrow we'd get like 200% gappers. Let's just kind of sit back, be patient, and wait. Right, Huddy?
Yeah. Interesting. The held by insiders, it increased.
Really?
And now it's at 71%.
You want to talk about MINM since it's kind of a weird multi-day bigger picture daily chart, or KPRX?
Yeah, we can go MINM. I probably have notes on
Yeah,
MINM
you
because
should.
I shorted them at one point. I shorted the day.
It went to 9, 10.
No, no. I shorted it on the 4th. Uh,
Yeah, I remember
I
that
think I
one.
probably
You
shorted
should
it.
have some.
I think
You should have some notes on this one.
I think I shorted it on 11:32. But I did not short it yesterday because it doesn't fit the criteria. So
Interesting
let's check it
daily
out.
chart here, though.
Again, I haven't done any research on these because I really don't have any intention of trading them. But last time I looked at them, there was a float of 1.1 mil. There was insider ownership of 41%. They did not have much cash on hand. It was like 500,000. And they had some capital. They had some like networking capital, but you know, nothing that screams red flag, but nothing that screams like I don't have anything written down about dilution. So that's good.
Yeah, kind of
Maybe.
weird stock too, because the latest news that I can find is the day it ran on 11/30, 2023, where they're just responding to their unusual trading. I'm trying to remember the other tickers that was that week of just kind of micro floats. I feel like I think that was like NEXI as well, SCRA,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of low floats were just running at that time. And
Well, it was Thanksgiving weekend, so you have a situation where you have an illiquid holiday trading season, and some algos or something got a hold of these stocks or their floats and just started running it. Um, and then yeah, MINM was definitely the one that put out the press release that said, "Hey, like we don't know why our stock is up," and that's what actually tanked it. And I think that like the view up that day was 6, which is a pretty key level in the chart moving forward. So today we're gonna find out if 6 leads to 10, or if 6 is kind of like a clear out move and it fails like any other time. Like yesterday wasn't a big gap up necessarily, 2 to 280, 250 to 280, but today like 4 to 630, it's getting bigger. And generally, when it gaps up bigger, it doesn't do well. It's not guaranteed that it's not going to do well this time, but we'll see. But it's running. It's good volatility. So for those that like that stuff,
it is interesting now. Volume not horrible yesterday for where was V up yesterday, like $4, almost 70 million. Today pushing through a big daily chart level. These, Huddy's all about the systems and the gappers. This definitely is more into my boat. Where you have daily chart levels that matter. You have the one at 590, overhead at 1020, and we're kind of inside of that range right now. We'll see where we open in 24 minutes. But there's definitely one that I will most likely be leaving alone today. I know Jack Schwartzy was talking about it this morning in the room. He's not officially a mentor anymore with Clover Trading, but he is in the room as a vice captain, and he pretty much runs the pre-market. He's there all the time. So if you do get access to Clover and you see him in there, he's a great person to talk to about a lot of these fundamentals and a lot of these weird low float movers and kind of what's going on behind the scenes as well. And he was talking about it this morning. All he said was it could be a breakout today. They were talking about something else. They always using fancy words and stuff, and he's always bringing options into it, and it's really confusing for me. But yeah, I think that level, that $5.90 to $6 level, will be really important this morning. Because there's a ton of range between that $6 and the $10 for money to be made for people to short into the 6 area, but then to kind of loosen up their risk threshold all the way up towards 10. Volume this morning is already pretty solid, so if it's another 50 million plus day, I do expect some fireworks with a 1 million float. And kind of what we were talking about here, we didn't really have a gapper. All of a sudden, this is your biggest gapper now, up 54%, making moves in the pre-market. This is probably going to be your most attractive one, I think, for most people to be watching, for chasing long, for shorting out of the gate.
chasing long.
Chasing. Well, that's how markets are created, right? It's Yeah, this is one's interesting. This one is out of the ones we've talked about this morning, one that will definitely go on my list and one I will be watching and rooting for it to go higher. If there's clear, if I'm a long biased watching this, I don't love that it's had to run from 2 into this $6 resistance. What was that? 3x, 200% just to get there. But if the volume is overwhelming and that $6 is holding a support into mid morning, afternoon, might be something to pay attention to. Don't love trading 1 milli floats. You've heard Kyle kind of harp on it all week about RVSN. It just makes it harder to trade no matter what. Even on that first red day, if you didn't cover where,
By the way,
huh?
he slayed that trade in Good Morning NASDAQ on Wednesday. W's in the chat for Kyle for absolutely slaying.
That was yesterday.
Was that yesterday? That feels like an eternity for me.
Last night for you?
I don't even know.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. But you even just saw with RVSN. Oh no, did we lose charts? The comeback all day in the afternoon, and just these super low float stocks, they can be tough to trade on the long and short side.
Yeah, kind of expected though, right? You got a stock down from 23 to 10. I mean, without really a significant bounce. I mean, besides a pre-market gap up, like it was still just straight down. It
went green yesterday at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still 50% off the highest, whatever.
I don't know.
It's not anything like crazy.
It's not crazy, but you'd prefer if it went and made new lows in the morning, that you'd want it to just fade all day, even lower, and get crazy. But
yeah,
tiny float here, MINM, one that I would definitely pay attention to. Not one that I have an active plan to go in this morning. More of like, what's it doing when I get to 11 o'clock in the morning? What is it at when it's noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? This is one that I actually will continue to go back and check on. Like most gappers, I wouldn't. So yeah, I like this kind of setup here. Rooting for it to go as high as possible because I love runners, and it's always nice to have stocks running hundreds of percents.
Yeah, and there was last one, KP.
We can't even talk. It's at 30% now.
Oh,
it's even worse than 5 minutes ago when we were looking at it.
I wasn't even looking at it.
I wasn't looking at it either. Made new lows here in the last 5 minutes in pre-market. See if there's any questions. So we'll talk for a couple minutes and wrap it up.
Okay. Are you not in the room? Do I have to go look?
I can see them. Someone asked, what was the name of the website? How do you mention about low float stocks?
I don't know.
Did you mention a specific website?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Plug is plugging away. I don't know if that's on anyone's watch list, but PLUG is a little cute there.
No thanks. All right. See, the fact that our definitions of cute have gotten so they've just gone apart.
I just think that you have a nice run from 2 to 3 or 4 really. Then 4 days of consolidation, and we broke out yesterday. Now we're gapping up again. So hope and trading 100 million shares on the day. I mean, cute if it goes another 2 or 3 days to 10. It'd be really cute.
Yes, if it went 100% higher to 10, I'd be interested as well. Someone said we need to get Schwartzy back on Good Morning NASDAQ one day. If you guys are in the room and you're a 4-leaf Clover, why don't you head on over there right now and just spam at Jack Schwartz and say, we want you tomorrow morning on Good Morning NASDAQ. We'd be happy to have him on.
Yeah, spam him. He loves to be spammed.
He loves spam.
Yeah. The more spam, the better. Spam Asubi, spam in his rice, spam in his Discord, spam everywhere.
Jeff asked, my 4 for this morning are RNAS, CISS, KXIN, MDAI. What are your thoughts on these charts? What are your thoughts on these charts? That's one of my questions that I absolutely hate the most is when someone just lists a ticker and said thoughts, ? Because it doesn't give me information. Usually I need to know what your thesis is, your bias. Are you generally a long bias trader or a short bias trader? And 4 tickers for me just to spend 10 minutes going through and saying my thesis. You said they're your 4. To be honest, I haven't heard of 3 of them in this current market. I have not looked at any of them, and I can't even zoom in enough on RNAS to get an accurate look at it.
Look what happened at KXIN yesterday. I mean, like
zero interest in RNAZ because it's not a daily chart that I talk about. KXIN, 0 interest because it's not a runner. I'll make this quick. MDAI. What am I looking at here? No, these aren't daily charts that I'm interested in. I'm looking for strong daily charts. Something like a DWAC last week in PHUN. Clearly a different chart that I'm pulling up right now than the last three I just pulled up. Strong daily charts, increased range, increased volatility, increased volume, former runners, mainstream catalyst, lots of players, truly a trading vehicle that a lot of people are watching. This, multi-day patterns where you have multi-day run, consolidation, breakout, first red day, first green day. These are the patterns that I trade. I am not here to say do not trade the patterns that you love and the patterns that make you money. If those tickers made you money and you're going to make money on them this morning because you have a trackable edge that you can tell me, more power to you. But when you're asking about me and my setups and what I am looking at, none of those fit my criteria. I'm looking for very specific things, and I'm looking for daily charts that are super active right now. That's why even most of the gappers that we talk about are not ones that I will continue to watch going forward, because most of them, reasons why Huddy is a system trader, is most of them are dead by the end of the day, and I don't need to be interested in them going forward. But the ones that do survive, hold up, stop him out, or break even at the end of the day and continue higher for multiple days, those are the ones that interest me, because there's a market there. The catalyst is clearly stuck. They have a right type of flow or market cap that is moving right now. They're doing massive volume. There's shorts maybe twisted. Like, a lot needs to happen for me. I'm trying to trade 3 times a week right now. That means the stock has to be there has to be a really good setup there. And again, I'm not sitting here to bash people, but that is a question that I really want people to work on. You want a better answer out of me and out of your mentors. Give more. And I'm not saying like go out of your way to be like, give me a whole entire content sheet of what, like a cover page for your stock idea. But just a little bit. Watching this stock for a breakout, what are your thoughts? I'm interested in this stock because it's extended. Do you think there's enough volume for a trade? Stuff like that. You're going to get better answers, but also having an understanding of what we like to trade and what we like to look for. If you don't know those things, Clover Academy is free. It's over on clovertrading.io. Use promo code FREE, and you will get that for free. And it's a few hours long of it's basically a beginner guide to who we are as traders and what we like to do. So it'd be a great place to check out. If not, 7 days, $7 trial, get in the room, catch yourself a few webinars, ask us very specific questions about who we are as traders, what we're looking for. And we're happy to get those answered. If you join right now, you'll have access to Huddy's webinar tomorrow. You're doing one, Huddy? Yep. And you can ask him anything about all of us. And Huddy knows me and Kyle like the back of our hand. I know Kyle and Huddy about the back of our hand. You can even ask them questions about each other, and we would be happy to answer. Someone said fun setting up for a breakout.
Man,
I don't know. Do I think it is possible? Yes. As long as it is above this 25-cent level, I will continue to watch it, because there's a world where this sets up into one of the a very glorious looking daily chart over 50 cents. I don't think in the next 5 to 6 days this is something I would be buying. If it were to spike off of these levels and DWAC alongside with it, spike to 40 to 45, it then held that level, set a higher low to 25, consolidate for a few days, and then ABCD on the daily chart, then I'd be interested.
I would be very hard pressed to say convincingly and confidently that fun is right now at 33 cents setting up for a breakout.
I don't think it's setting up for a breakout. I don't think it's not setting up for a breakout. It's in limbo.
And in fact, it's in the middle of the range. It's choppy as hell. There's no catalyst. There's no reason for it to break out. I don't think it's at all setting up like something like rum might be setting up for a breakout, right? I don't think it's anywhere near. And if I had to make a bet, I'd bet that they do a reverse split before that thing ever breaks out and make it a lot harder to actually break out. So I think a lot of things are coming for fun, and I don't think any of them are going to be fun. But if it does come, I'll be ready, because it'll be volatile again, and it'll be near the breakout, and we'll have that conversation on that Good Morning NASDAQ.
That's kind of, we'll end on this kind of point and kind of what I was just talking about, which is like who we are as traders and what we're looking for. It's very specific moments in time that we're interested. PHUN is a stock that has been active recently. The volume has dropped off. The range has decreased significantly. Like, what I try to teach with my bootcamp presentations and webinars is like, these stocks are on a watch list, but I'm not looking at them to trade. I'm not trying to force my bias onto them and say what is it going to do tomorrow that I got to long it? I got to short it. It's more of like, what does this stock have to do for me to be interested? Stock always must do something before I even think about creating a plan for it. What's so funny?
I don't know, just the way stock must do.
It is, because I think too many people look at stocks and go, what can I do with you? Versus stock, what can you do for me to get me to trade it? And PHUN needs to do those things. And by being very specific with what the stock has to do to get me interested on something like PHUN, it must bounce back to the 40s to 45 area, stop there short of the breakout level, consolidate in a sideways range for a day, 2, 3 days, and then I'm interested. And now I know that that is 5, 6, 7, 8 days down the road, so I shouldn't be buying it today. That's my thoughts on that and kind of how I appreciate it.
We're gonna nice, and you pretty much described what it's like to be setting up for a breakout. But we're gonna leave it off on this. Ask not what you can do for your stock, but what your stock can do for you.
Exactly. That's how it is. If you live your life by that, you will take far less trades. You will be in the right place at the right time, and you'll inherently make more money. That is the trick of the trade. That's the lesson for today. Believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities. Selene Music, post that question in the one that you just added. I know you're 4-leaf, so post that exact question over in the room, 4-leaf room, and Huddy will be happy to answer it for you. Hope you all have a phenomenal first day of February. Stay safe. I'll say what I wrote in the room just a few 30 minutes ago. Start of a fresh month. Great time to reevaluate. Start anew. Get back to the good habits. Stay disciplined. Be patient. Prove to yourself over the next month you're going to do all the things that you say you will. So great time. If you are a 4-leaf, I posted a video lesson last night. Goals for February. I think everyone should be doing their goals. I'll post a video lesson tonight on my stats from January. So look forward to that one coming out as well. Thank you, Huddy, for being here on this beautiful night. We will see you first thing in the morning. Everyone, 8:45 a.m. tomorrow start time. Good morning, NASDAQ. Appreciate you all being here. Tell a friend, tell a cousin. We'll be live every single day. So happy to have you. Let's go over to the room and have a wonderful trading day. Goodbye, everyone.